Hi everyone. Hope you guys are doing well during this pandemic. So I'm here to give my speech, but before I give my speech, I gotta explain some things. So, because of the virus, I wasn't able to get three or more people to film me giving my speech, and since I only live with my mom, that's only one person. So, because of that, I just thought I might as well just record myself giving my speech to you guys. I know it doesn't really follow the rules, but this is like the best I can do. So, just bear with me. But aside that, let's just get into this speech. So, from a young age, we were taught that if we were to do something wrong, we were to be punished. It could have been for breaking a vase, sneaking out at night, or not listening to the rules. When we were punished, we received punishments that fit the crime. We were either grounded or got a slap on the wrist. Speaking in terms, speaking in terms of these situations, wouldn't it make sense for the criminals who have committed heinous crimes to receive a punishment that equals that? Because I agree with the death penalty, I must negate the argument that the death penalty should be abolished and to implement a new law that requires an alternative punishment to these criminals. First, I will remind you of the affirmatives argument, then I will explain why I disagree with the argument, and finally, I will discuss the cost of the affirmatives argument. First, I will remind you of the affirmatives argument. The affirmative noted that the solution to get rid of the death penalty is to implement a new law that will require the government to establish a law to better the justice system from what it is today. They argued about personal beliefs and financially. They discussed about morals and how it is wrong to do so. It was their personal beliefs that they wanted a change. They also made the point of the cost of each execution and that it is too expensive for us to pay. The affirmative also argued that the law should be that criminals serve longer sentences and that they shouldn't be executed for their crimes. I disagree with this solution, and I have three works for this reason. So, first one, the number of people in jail right now that are facing the death penalty is low. The fact is that holding more prisoners in jail costs more than executing them through the death penalty. According to Natalie Rigoli from the Connectus Foundation, on January 5th, 2019, over 2 million people are currently part of the prison population in the United States. About 1 in 5 people currently in jails across the country are awaiting trial for charges that they face. It maintains the death penalty maintains prison populations at a manageable level. Instead of having to construct more cells for prison, the death penalty helps control prison population. With the death penalty in mind, there's no worry about hiring new guards and constructing bigger prisons to take care of these prisoners. Also, by separating those who are convicted of a capital crime, we can create more rooms for individuals who are willing to work and rehabilitate to better themselves in their lives for the future. With this will help individuals to better themselves, but that's only if we can weed out the criminals who deserve the death penalty. This structure makes it so it's possible to limit the financial impacts which occur when all serious crimes requires long-term prisoner care. The less crimes with serious crimes in jail, the more financially stable that each prison will have throughout each state. A second source is from a journalist from Soapboxy. The journalist also gives examples that it would be too expensive to give each prisoner basic needs, such as food, clothing, and shelter. We could easily shorten these costs by having prisoners who did serious crimes be put in the death penalty. Also, by serving longer sentences at the end of the prisoner's term, taxpayers would have paid lots of money just to keep him in prison. If we keep the death penalty, taxpayers would not have to keep paying for these criminals to live comfortably in jail, and the cost of taking care of prisoners would be cut down drastically. In addition, the cost would outweigh the benefits. Implementing a law like the one the affirmative has proposed will lead to criminals not fearing any severe consequences for their actions. This will also lead to overpopulations in prisons, as I stated, which will cause more prisons to be opened, which will cost more money. So, according to Keith Miller from the Future of Working on June 3rd, 2019, the death penalty can provide a deterrent against violent crimes. When some criminologists define this term of the death penalty, they're looking at how the presence of the sentencing can stop violent acts by preventing someone to commit them in the first place. So, with that in mind, capital punishment could help lower the numbers of crimes that can be committed throughout each state. Each criminal will be afraid to commit any crime ever again, knowing that they could be sentenced to death. So, it's also about the fear of being executed. Some people believe that executions will be brutal, and that because of this, that we shouldn't go through it. But it's not really a case in today's age, since we have technology that can help make the process be quick and painless for each prisoner. So, from the same journalist, Keith Miller, it also gives the criminal no hope of getting out of prison now. And this makes them so that they realize that because of their crimes, they won't be able to get bailed out, since they've already gotten the death penalty. And this also lowers the chances of them having no chance to escape, since they'll be put on death row, which is a more secure part of the prison. This will make it so that no criminals will escape, such as El Chapo. This would make it difficult for them to escape and show criminals to not commit crimes anymore. This will also help reduce the number of inmates in prison, as I stated before. California's criminal justice system became so overcrowded with prisoners that the federal courts had to step into order changes or risk letting convicted prisoners loose because there was no room to house them in. With the death penalty, it will help reduce the numbers of people in prison. So tell me, having criminals who committed heinous acts really deserve not to go unpunished? Or should we keep our law and have them face their consequences? Now that I've established the cost, let me conclude. First, I will remind you of the affirmative's argument. First, I reminded you of the affirmative's argument. Then I explained why I disagree with the argument, and I finally discussed the cost of the affirmative's argument. I disagree with implementing a new law that requires prisoners to be locked up and not have to face punishment they deserve. So, what's important to you? To have a criminal who commits crimes and has nothing to fear? Or would you want a criminal to face his consequences of his or her crime? I thank you guys for this time. Take care, be careful out there, stay safe, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.